So the first thing with any of the Seadoos is basically you have to wake the ski up. You do that by putting the key in and just pushing the start button, and should make a double beep. Now, with all the diagnostic connectors, you'll probably find them usually near the battery. The Maptuner connects directly into the diagnostic connector, and that should bring up the screen for you guys. You click on the add vehicle, and it's just basically saying or asking you to add a new vehicle to the system. It'll recognize it, and with the Seadoo, it's a virtual read, so it'll just recognize the software version and the VIN number. And then it just makes a real basic copy of what's inside the ski, inside the ECU. So it's successfully added that one to the system. I'll show you the Yamahas now as well. So you've got 3 connectors inside the ski. You have to disconnect all 3. Make sure you don't leave any plugged in. It won't actually physically fit if you have the middle plug in. So that's a single plug. All the Yamahas you basically plug into the center connector. The only thing with the Yamahas and Kawasaki's is you do need a battery connection. We do use a 12-volt battery from an RC car or helicopter or anything like that, but you can use just a standard jump pack or anything like that as well. And basically all you need to do is get the connector for the 12-volt. Then all you need to do is obviously connect up the Maptuner. And so the same thing with this ski, we actually go to add vehicle, and it will instantly recognize that it's a Yamaha. And these actually make a full read, so it's similar to the Kawasaki's. You get an original backup onto the Maptuner itself, which then you put onto the server. There's always a backup of it. If you lose the tune for whatever reason, or you lose, like say, the ECU, we do have an original backup of it. And same, if you do keep it on this unit, it will actually keep it obviously stored on here. So it's not a virtual read like the Seadoos. So it asks, do you want to create this ID? Yes. And this process does take a little bit longer because it's a true read, it's not just a simulated read. The Yamaha SVHO has been now added to the system. We'll go through a tune later. Once you've actually got all the reads on the Maptuner itself, you can then synchronize it to the server. As you can see, all of these are still showing as vehicles that haven't been added to the server. So what we'll do now on here is actually synchronize the unit, and it'll recognize all the skis we've just added. So this is a VIN list of what we've been doing. This is the Yamaha SVHO. We can bring it up and show you what actual tunes were available for this in an end user market. Once you've worked out what files you want to add for that ski, again, once a VIN number's been paid for, all these are available. Obviously the racing market's only for dealers or for the experienced users. So we'll submit this request, and it says in a few minutes you should be able to sync all these down to the Maptuner. So once you've waited about 1 or 2 or up to 5 minutes, just hit synchronize and everything will be downloaded, and then you can tune the ski. So same thing, it's got to wake the ski up, don't start it, but make sure you get a double beep out of it. And we're still in the OBD connector. Now if we go to programming, it should actually detect which vehicle this is. So here we've got a base file, which is a 48 injector, 8250 RPM limiter, 35 ignition timing mid, 34 high. So we'll select that. And actually brings up the torque and horsepower profile. You can see there. And basically just click through, shows you the voltage. 12.6 volts is pretty good. Anything under 12 volts, it won't actually allow you to proceed through with the programming. So once program is complete, you just basically hit close, brings you back to the main screen. Probably the best thing with the Seadoos is actually to pull the key out, let the dash settle off, and then actually put it back on. So the additional features that we have added to the system is obviously all the servicing that is available through dealers, or you can actually unlock them for the individual VIN as well. So say for this one, we do have the availability to clear and read codes. And currently there's no error codes in the ECU, which is great. DES keys, we can actually add a new key. So we can see there's a normal and a learner key that's already been added. So basically if we were to add a new key, or say we want to remove the current key, we can remove that key. That key's been removed. If we want to re-add it, we just add a normal, learner, or rental key. As you guys know, as Seadoo dealers and servicing guys, you'll probably know the difference between all three. But say we want to add that key back, just go to add normal key. But the process should take you, from start to finish, it should only take you about 20 to 30 seconds. Whereas using the bud system, I know of guys that have had to, from the time they approach the ski, start up the laptop, connect to the new bud system, they actually have to spend about 15 to 20 minutes before they can do anything with keys and product delivery and so forth. So if we want to disable all the DES, say there's an error of the DES, or we want to set it up for racing, we can disable all the DES keys. And this will enable any magnet to basically allow this key to start. Yeah, it's handy for, say, surf lifesaving, racing, or anything like that, where you don't want any additional security features. That's where it's probably the most use. The next thing that we can show you is obviously you can reset the RPM profile history. Say we wanted to do this on the ski. It's in the menu. So all the history has been returned to basically a random generation that's quite safe. And if it's connected up to a bud system, it will actually show that it's quite safe and it hasn't been exceeded in RPM. The other features are obviously to reset the throttle body. Without knowing the history of the ski, I wouldn't do it right now, because there is obviously issues that you can encounter if you reset this throttle body, if there is any issues with the actual throttle body itself. And obviously the last one is the reset the service interval. So all these features are available at a dealer level or an individual VIN level. So coming back to the SVHO, we've got a tune loaded onto the Maptuner itself. You can actually now connect up the same procedure to read it, use the same procedure to actually write it as well. So we'll connect up the 12 volt, connect up the Maptuner, and same thing here. You go to program vehicle, it'll recognize the vehicle and we go through the tune process again. So this is where we find the tune files. We'll do the 8350 tune. It's a nice and safe tune. You can actually take these up to about 8650, but ideally you want to run the safest tune for the customer where they're going to be happy with the tune. So it brings up the RPM profile. Just go through the program. Click if you want to actually tune it. Go through it. Press OK. First thing it does, it calculates the checksum, and then it'll go through the programming stage, and then it will allow you to actually remove the Maptuner and you can start the vehicle then afterwards. Yeah, so once you've put all the cover back on, plugged the connectors back into the ECU, you can go and start it just to verify it's actually written correctly. It should fire up nicely. That's basically it. So if it's successfully written, it will actually start. If it hasn't successfully written, you'll get an error message, which you can then follow through on the Maptuner. But definitely the start procedure is the best way to tell if it's actually written correctly.